So just in Calgary, in underground parking in a Marriott hotel. And just so nice to be able to throw the luggage in the frunk. It's just super handy. And we didn't even think of it on the way here to Calgary. We put it all in the back seat of the truck because we forgot we had a frunk. And then I realized this morning on our departure that I didn't have to have a crowded cab. I could just throw it all in, and it's just like there's so much space. Fantastic. Okay, it's cold and very snowy, but I thought I'd give you a little bit of a house building tip. I didn't do this on purpose, but it's worked out amazing all through the years. So my front step, the stairs are wide enough that I can back a pickup truck right up, and it comes level with my porch. And then, like today, we had to purchase a new range because ours died. You could just take the dolly right into the truck and roll it off onto the porch, and then right through the front door. And the front door should be minimum. This is the minimum size. This is a 4-foot wide door. I had it custom made, and the engineer didn't want to make the door because he said that the hinges wouldn't hold the weight. And I said, well, how many hinges are you using? And he said, 3. And I said, put 4 on it. And he's like, oh, that'll work. So engineers don't think of everything. But anyway, so wide front door, and make your steps wide enough that you can back a truck right up between the handrails, and then it's very easy to bring big things in your house. Okay, so we're gonna do a review of this LG Induction slide-in range. This, you can see the number there, but it's an LSIL6336F. This is the one we decided to get. All the controls for the stove and that are on the front. The other one, the one model lower, it doesn't have as many controls on the front. The oven is on the push buttons. But anyway, we'll talk a little bit about it. I mean, they're not expensive as far as appliances go. And $2,599 Canadian is maybe $1,700 US. And then this one, the lower model would be more like $1,500 US. So they're not an expensive range, but we're gonna try it. Ours died, and so now we're gonna take it out of the box and see how it works. All right, so we cut the straps. Most of these big appliances nowadays just have a top that lifts off. I've gone to cutting things and then realized that no, it doesn't need to cut the box, you just lift it off. It was pretty heavy when we loaded it out of the truck. This range is not super light. Okay, then we'll put all the packing in the box. So there it is. There's our range. We got the racks, and it has a temperature probe that you can program into the oven so that it shuts off when it gets to the right temperature, whatever you're roasting or baking. And there's an air fryer rack that comes with it. Some trim piece, we'll find out what that is. That looks like it for that. Okay, so plastic.
I love the smell of new oven.
New oven smell. Take off the cover. Wow, it's got a huge main burner. It'll be fun to see the different features. Quick reference guide for induction cooktop. We'll probably look at that. Ooh, all of the covers. You definitely don't want to turn it on with any plastic on it. especially that we can't get to on the back. Yeah, we got some things on the back. So we'll get all the packing off of it and get it off of its base, and then we'll get right back to you. All right, so I don't know much about, obviously the energy guide gives you a rough idea. It looks like it does use a fair amount of energy. Obviously it doesn't use any gas. They say they're actually more efficient in the long run because they heat up so fast that you use less power. But anyway, so 390 on the energy guide. But we're just getting the rest of the packing off, and it's looking nice. The reason there's a few reasons why we're doing this. Our range, I think a module blew out, and we will probably fix the range that we took out, but they can't look at it for another week. And we're trying different induction ranges for our housing projects. Tasha and her team are working on a few projects that we will need electric ranges for. They're trying a Maytag, I believe, and we'll try this LG, and then whichever ones we like the best would be the ones we would source for our other projects. Okay, we've slid it into place. It has, oh, this one's kind of cool. If you want to see inside the oven.
You knocked twice.
Oh, you knock twice. Cool. So you knock twice and it shuts off. Ha! Knock, knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Oven!
That's really cool.
You're supposed
So,
to say oven who?
oven who?
Oven! I don't know. I was trying to think of a punchline and I couldn't think of a punchline.
So it's nice, got a nice blue interior. So we'll get the racks unwrapped and get them into place. Okay, so we opened up some more plastic. There's some warranty registration stuff. There's a book of tips and techniques, the owner's manual, the air fryer rack, which I've never air fried before, but many people do. Here's the 2 oven racks. We have the probe for the automatic temperature sensing in the oven, which I'm very excited about so that I don't overcook the meat at all. And then some polish for the top and a polisher of sorts. So no, that's what came in the box. It's a very big oven, and the LG is a huge oven, and it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different spots. There's where you plug in the temperature probe, and it came with 2 racks. So we'll just do a quick water boiling test, and we will use this oven and add some more video and the range top. One of the things I don't like about the reviews that because I've been looking at all kinds of reviews on the internet for ranges to try to decide which one to buy because there's so many to choose from. But all the reviews just compare specs and prices. There's hardly anywhere where anyone actually cooks with it and tries to find out how it actually functions. So then they never find out that, okay, certain heat zones are too small, or that it beeps like crazy if you set the pan in the right spot. There's all these things that you do not find out from these reviews on the internet because they're just comparing specs and price. We want to know how it operates and if it drives us crazy. One of the things that drives me crazy about some of these is when you lift the pan, it beeps and then it shuts off before you have time to put the crepe batter on the pan and swoosh it around and set it down. It needs to give you a certain number of seconds before it goes into hyper beep mode and shut down. My last cooktop was amazing that way. It was very quiet and it just let me do my thing and it never shut down. If you left a pan off of the burner for more than maybe a minute, I don't know, it would always shut off. But because there's no heat coming from the burner. So there's no point in it shutting off in seconds because there's no heat. The heat's in the pan. So anyway, so they don't need to be ultra sensitive. So you just want to buy an appliance that doesn't drive you crazy when you're actually using it. So we'll give you some of those demonstrations. Okay, so instead of having a touchpad up here like my other one does, it's just on a dial, which is kind of nice because when you want to change something, you just turn it. You don't have to find the buttons and push the buttons. Some stoves, you actually have to hit an enter button and the adjustment. Some of them even take 3 strokes to adjust the temperature. Our previous one wasn't so bad. We could just hit up arrows or down arrows. But this one, you just turn the knob. And so we're gonna do a time test on this. And in the boost function, it sometimes will steal power from other parts of the stove. And so I'm not gonna try these two at the same time because it's possible that this one, when it's boosting, steals power from this burner. So I just want to test them independently. I've put 4 cups of water in each one, and we will see how long it takes for these to boil. All right, now we're at a full rolling boil in 2 minutes. 2 minutes, and it's going for it. So that took 3 minutes and 45 seconds on the back burner, only 2 minutes on the front. But it is half the power on the back burner. But still very, very fast and very acceptable for the actual cooking. And I'm just going to time how many seconds I can have the pan off of the burner before it shuts off. So we're boiling the water, you pull the pan to go and drain it at the sink or something. We'll just see how many seconds we get. $10 seconds, 15. So about 15 seconds before it shuts off. And that's awesome because that gives you enough time to do something and get back. Some of them start to beep and try to shut off immediately. And there was no real crazy beeping going on there. I wonder what it does if you spill a little water on top. Huh, you're still videoing? Mm-hmm. That's awesome. It's not making any beeping sounds. On the other, even on my old one, it would have beeped. But it's partly because there's touch controls on the top. But with these knobs, and see, I've still got the burner on, but it doesn't matter because it's shut off automatically because there's no pan. And now that it's shut off, even if I put a pan on there, it's not coming back on because it knows that it's safetied out. And now, so it doesn't turn back on, even though the dial is on. I have to turn it off. And then, that is just crazy. That didn't, because most of them, if you dump water or set anything on them, they start to beep. Even if you set something just on the top with nothing turned on, some of them will beep at you. I've had complaints about that. So that's very cool. I want a quiet top. They're the safest kind of stove range in the world, induction. And so to have a whole bunch of beeping and safeties and stuff like that is incredibly annoying. It just needs to be safe. It doesn't need to be annoying. So on the quick guide, it gives you the size of the elements and then the size of the pan that's required. On the big one, which is the big 11-inch element, it says that your minimum size of pan is 9.5. But I just boiled water on that big burner with a 5.5, with this tiny saucepan, and it still worked. And so I was just glad. I didn't want to be restricted to only big pans on that burner, but it works really good with the it boiled very quickly with the 5.5, and it worked totally fine on this. Let's see this. Yeah, this is it's technically, the other one's a 6-inch pan and this is an 8-inch, but their bottom, right where it contacts the glass, is only, this one's about 7.5 and the other one's 5.5. So no, it's so happy with how it's functioning so far. So I turned that on there, And yeah, like that pan is a 10-inch on the big 11-inch burner. And it doesn't get hot anywhere except for where the pan. The burner doesn't get hot at all. It's just sending in magnetic pulses, and the steel of the pan, the molecules vibrate until they become very, very hot, and then the heat is produced and boils the water. That is just crazy fast. Crazy fast. Yeah, I mean, that was fantastic. Okay, so this is, you know, the biggest diameter pan that I use. At the top, it's, you know, over 12 inches wide. At the base where it's touching the glass would be, you know, around that 11 inches, but it's like huge, huge. This is the pan that I use to boil, to poach eggs when I make an eggs Benedict. So I can do, as many as 30 eggs in this pan at one time. I just keep cracking them in as fast as I can go, 2 on each plate, so I can easy, you know, cook for 15 people. So I've just turned that on. That is crazy. That's crazy fast. So it's already bubbling, but I wanted to see this so we could see how big the coil is. As it heats there, that, you know, it's a big heat. I'm happy with that. It's not the full 12 inches, but that's a big burner under there. That's a big burner. So I'm seeing about 9 inches. Yeah, the coil is about 9 inches underneath that glass. 9 inches. So that's fantastic. Woo!